about the last philosopher. Now here you can see different philosophers. You have Immanuel Kant, we have Spinoza. I just want you to go back to them and maybe try to enrich your knowledge about each one of them. Very important philosophers, Kant, Spinoza. So here we are not talking about the top 10, we are talking about the rest, okay? We have Thomas Hobbes, okay, very famous. We have and now we reach Aristotle. Let's talk about Aristotle. Now that's number one in philosophy. What is known about? Now he covered different things, different ideas at the time of Aristotle, of Alexander, sorry, the Great, and he covers different forms and ideas of literature, science, and politics. Now he was working on studying empirical world, and the idea of the mind and thinking, very, very important ideas that he discussed at that time. Now, it's very important what he proved to understand, that there's no acceptance of whatever is not realistic unless you prove it, okay? That you should prove anything so as to accept it. So he was against the way they used to think in philosophy, and that made him more towards. He was against idealism in a way, like Plato, and he was, the scholar of Plato, and he called that as the importance of scientific method. Okay. And he was introducing what is called the principles of causality, القانون السببية أو العلية. Okay, now you can continue this alone, but let's now see what are the major things you should know about Aristotle. He is a Greek philosopher. Now, we refer to him when we talk about the classical period in ancient Greece, and he was the founder of what is called Lyceum. So which is like a temple, but it was dedicated to debates by having the dialectical form, and also according to Aristotelian tradition, they used to, and according to his writings, he was very concentrating on physics, studying physics, biology, zoology, and metaphysics also. So it's not only the metaphysics part and logic, he also studied the physical part, which is physics, biology, and zoology. And of course, he was concerned with metaphysics and logic and ethics and aesthetics. So all forms of philosophy that I introduced to you before. Aesthetics, which is philosophy of art. Now, also poetry and theater. And now, the major important ideas in theater till nowadays in culture is referred to Aristotle. And also music and psychology, linguistics, economics, politics. So all new, let's say, parts of information and knowledge nowadays. We have what is called at that time Plato's Academy in Athens, and he was one to moderate and think of the physical science as a very important thing to emphasize on. So it is his views on physical science, his early Middle Ages, Renaissance. He also discussed the Renaissance and classical mechanisms, and all ideas of Renaissance that are introduced later as an influence on Christian theology were introduced because of him. And he was so affecting the early church at that time. And later on we have Thomas Aquinas, who was another philosopher who, in the Italian a Catholic priest, he was so highly in a way affected by Aristotelian or Aristotle's philosophy, dealing with a very important thing, which is virtue ethics. أخلاقيات الفضيلة, okay, which are normative ethical theories, نظريات معيارية, they call it in Arabic, معيارية أخلاقية, okay, which they used to think of it as norms affecting the way of thinking of virtues. And virtues, not only virtues of your behavior, virtues of the mind, virtues of character, of the senses, of honesty. And he discussed the nature of virtues and how they should be treated and what are the problems that we may face in such virtues, and so on. So that is the main thing that you have to know. He also talked about dreams, about ethics, geology, astronomy. Philosophers at that time used to study things in all its dimensions, even optics. So he had he discussed just war theory. That's a very important theory that he talked about, and it's affecting our lives nowadays. In politics and political science, he used to think, Aristotle, that not some words are accepted and are just. Of course, we deny that words are accepted if you are a peacemaker or a peace thinker. And he used to think that some words are just, and to him, just war theory, it's a different way of thinking of things. He thought that he referred to it as, in traditional and military ethics, thinking that ethicists have certain, military leaders, they have certain responsibility through our lives. And here we can see, for example, the idea of virtue and the vices and how he thought of it in a way to reach what is called Aristotelian ethics, or some people they call it Nicomachean ethics, which is a name given to Aristotle's best known work of ethics. And that was very well spread later on, when all the ideas of ethics and morality spread till nowadays. Okay, so I leave it to you to study and have a look on it, and we'll discuss it later. Let me stop here.